James Gunn doesn't mind a DC version of Marvel Rivals. However, MCU fans believe that it will flop due to blatant sexism in DC. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. It's been a while since NetEase Games treated us with Marvel Rivals. The game debuted back in December 2024 and brought some of the most iconic Marvel characters, such as Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Scarlet Witch, in a 6v6 hero shooter format. Marvel Rivals has been a phenomenal success, and it's still breaking records left and right. This makes everyone wonder, will DC copy the same hero shooter path? While James Gunn, the director pushing DC Studios into a new era, is open to the idea, Marvel fans believe it's destined to fail as DC doesn't really have female characters. While chatting with Comic Book at one of the recent DC Studios events, Gunn was questioned if there will ever be a DC counterpart of Marvel Rivals. Surprisingly, Gunn stated that the DC's version of a hero shooter may be possible, and he's open to the idea. Since then, we've been seeing fans coming up with story ideas for a DC version of Marvel Rivals. They want the DC hero shooter to use its own original gameplay mechanics and features to stand out from competitors. However, MCU fans believe that this idea can never work out due to a lack of female characters in DC-verse. There's absolutely no denying the fact that the DC universe has a number of iconic characters, and a fair share of them are female. However, if DC goes for a hero shooter like Marvel Rivals, it doesn't have enough popular female characters who can fit into various roles. In the Marvel Universe, we have tons of female heroes. Right from Captain Marvel, who can take down ships and planets, to She-Hulk, who can tank everything that stands in her way. However, that's not the case with DC Universe. For some odd reason, the universe has always revolved around Superman and Batman. Fans have always felt that female characters haven't received the same levels of limelight. Sure, you have Wonder Woman, Supergirl, and Batgirl, but that's all the DC Universe has to offer, really. If Gunn really wants a DC version of Marvel Rivals, he must tackle this problem effectively. Otherwise, the hero shooter would end up being yet another failure for Warner Bros. It's not just the idea of a live-service hero shooter that fascinates Gunn. As reported by IGN, he's had conversations with both Rocksteady and NetherRealm and wants a game that takes place in his version of DCU. It's still years away, but he's always been open to the idea of bringing games into the DCU. However, it's going to be interesting to see how DC makes its own version of Marvel Rivals. Undoubtedly, we're going to see tons of copycat accusations, but that shouldn't really be an issue, considering Rivals itself copied Overwatch. It's going to be a long while before we see a DC hero shooter, and who knows if the hero shooter hype will still be around by then. Focusing on a game with the hopes that it will still make waves years from now could lead to another disappointment like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Surely, Gunn doesn't want to repeat that tragedy. With that said, do you think a DC's take on Marvel Rivals could work? Let us know in the comments. James Gunn's cryptic Peacemaker Season 2 image might have bigger ramifications for the DCU than what fans might think. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn's brand, at least when it comes to comic book films, seems to be fast becoming the introduction of characters that are considered obscure and D-list into the cultural zeitgeist. However, the director has a way of not only making these characters palatable in the mainstream but also icons in popular culture. If Guardians of the Galaxy and Peacemaker are any indication, along with all the characters that are going to be in Superman, James Gunn might be planning to bring another obscure DC character into the mainstream, as teased by the photo that he posted on his social media handles. James Gunn shared an image on his social media, linking it to Peacemaker Season 2, that depicted what looked like a tribal chief sitting in front of a fire. Speculations have gone wild, as fans try to predict how the character will factor into Season 2. Gunn could have teased Apache Chief, a character from DC Comics who is known for his Native American background. While this might be a character who could make it into the DCU, it must be noted that James Gunn might be taking more than a few hints from the DC animated universe, which could indicate that he is bringing in a different hero, which could be Long Shadow. The reason why Long Shadow is more likely a candidate to show up in Peacemaker Season 2 is that he has a direct connection to Cadmus, an organization also headed by Amanda Waller in a bid to corner the superhero community with state-sanctioned superhumans. Long Shadow was also a member of the government-sponsored Ultiman, which played a crucial role in fighting the Justice League on behalf of the U.S. government. A slew of heroes are also set to appear in James Gunn's Superman, along with a version of the Authority. Given that Peacemaker Season 2 will be set inside the DCU, it is possible that the Authority could be the Ultimate replacement that will feature in the show. Perhaps Superman may see some members of the Ultimate/Authority incarcerated by some means or the other. This could prompt Waller to fill the ranks of the Authority with new heroes like Long Shadow, and also perhaps members that have been missing so far, like Apollo, who would be an asset against Superman, and Midnighter. Long Shadow could either be recruited at the end of Season 2 of Peacemaker into the Ultimate/Authority, or it could be the case that the character already exists as a member of the team when he makes his appearance in the sequel season of Peacemaker. Despite not being in the scheme of things, James Gunn and Peter Safran greenlit Clayface due to one principal reason that will guide the DCU. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Unlike the previous DCU, whose attempt at replicating the MCU formula failed exponentially, the new regime under James Gunn and Peter Safran is taking a more creator-driven approach than a producer-driven model. In contrast to the MCU, which is notable for announcing projects without a final draft at hand, the DC heads have been pretty vocal about prioritizing writers. This explains why Brave and the Bold is yet to hit production and why Clayface is eyeing a 2026 release, not long after Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Making a good movie with a good script is hard enough already, shared James Gunn, who then stressed, it's almost impossible making a movie with a script that you're writing on the run. He isn't wrong, as at the end of the day, most of the flaws with modern CBMs and blockbusters in general boil down to their writing, as the industry keeps prioritizing profits over cinema. But being a writer-director himself, Gunn has been vocal about giving writers the keys to the new DCU, as the future of each DCU release will depend on the script, and unless Gunn and Safran are satisfied, it won't be greenlit. This has directly contributed to Clayface being greenlit, as despite not being in the scheme of things, Mike Flanagan's script proved too good to resist, via the wrap. Clayface is the crazy one, because we had no plans on making a Clayface movie. Mike Flanagan came in and he pitched the Clayface movie, and it was great. So he turned in the script, and it's one of the best scripts that we read from the whole time. This has also been the case for Ana Nogueira's Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and Justin Kuritzka's Sergeant Rock, which are currently slated for a 2026 release. With the production on Clayface set to roll this year, James Gunn assured fans that one doesn't have to be a strict DC viewer to enjoy Mike Flanagan DC horror. Speaking of the film, Safran described it as an indie-style chiller, featuring body horror, while Gunn described it as pure F********** ing horror via Collider. Clayface might not be as widely known as the Penguin or the Joker, but we really feel that his story is equally resonant, compelling, and in many ways, more terrifying than one of those. Considering that CBMs in the past few years have struggled from a repetitive tone and often void of any true vision, Safran and Gunn's decision to embrace all kinds of stories under the DC banner is a major win for fans.